It's involved in calcium absorption. It's involved in some of the other hormone pathways. And I should mention that there's a study, I'll link to this in the show note captions, that shows that some amount of sunlight exposure to the skin, this is an Israeli study where they had people, get several tens of minutes of sunlight exposure in the afternoon during particular times of year. They didn't have them going naked outside. Okay, this was sort of like context and culturally appropriate. Skin exposure to the upper body and to the legs could induce increases in hormones such as testosterone and estrogen, which were correlated with, it wasn't causal, but it was correlated with improvements in mood, well-being, libido, etc. Well, some of that probably relates to testosterone and estrogen synthesis directly. Again, the skin as an endocrine organ. Okay, there are certain elements within the keratinocytes, skin cells, that can literally communicate with some of the organs of the body that produce testosterone and estrogen, even some of the glands, pituitary, et cetera. This is through a number of different stations. It's not necessarily direct, but also through the sun's ability to impact the vitamin D pathway that then impinges on those testosterone, estrogen, and things like luteinizing hormone pathways. We don't have time to go into all this now. I covered this in an episode about testosterone and estrogen. You have hormones such as luteinizing hormone, which then stimulate the gonads, the testes to the ovaries, to make testosterone and or estrogen. The skin is a not so obvious player in this whole thing, whereby external environmental stimuli, such as the availability of sunlight, which in most places in the world varies across the year, can stimulate more or less vitamin D production, luteinizing hormone production that can impinge on testosterone and estrogen production. These pathways are one of the reasons why when we get the right amount of sunlight, not too little, not too much, we feel better. We feel better because certain hormones are being produced at certain levels when we're getting that sun exposure. And when we don't get that sun exposure, we have lower levels of those hormones. This is well established